Here we go. Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Finally, we got it going. I was kind of worried there for a second.
I was too. I was like, oh, I better start letting everybody chat know, guys. We might be having some issues here.
I kept pushing go live on Zoom and it turned from red to blue. And then I'd go looking on YouTube and not live. And finally, I closed that out and opened it back up, closed it out and opened it back up. And here we are.
Absolutely. Hold on real quick. I'm going to get the light off my face.
Right on.
Okay.
So anyway, we got it going tonight, folks. That's all that matters. So.
Oh yeah, we good. We good.
If there's a will, there's a way, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And tonight I've got a lot I got to cover. We're going to get to the higher minds, but there's some things I want to discuss before we get going, and good and bad, but it kind of falls in line with what we're all dealing with right now. So, but first, we'll talk to Trina here first. But also, I got a package yesterday. Was it today? No, it was today from Miss Travel 444. And holy cow! Wait till I show y'all some of these things. She sent me basically a seed bank. I mean, literally like heirloom seeds, all heirloom seeds. And some of these seeds are from 5500 BC, these old zucchini strains and stuff. And she got some from the 1800s, 1920s, and from Europe, from, Israel and America, the Cherokee purple tomatoes. Like, I'm not going to play any. I'm keeping, that's going to be my seed bank. I think, but I mean, she did send enough. I may try to put out a few next year. I'm not going to do it this year, but maybe put out a few next year. But like I said, that's going to be my seed bank set. I'm like, and she put a lot of work and time into this. So if y'all see her,
amazing.
I'm looking for her in chat. I hadn't seen her yet, but holy cow.
What a precious gift.
Yeah, I know. I was in shock, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a precious gift. What a gift. Wow.
So what's been going on, Trina?
Trina's just been working a lot, and we had craziness hit here in our city last night, so that was kind of spooky.
Yeah, it seems to be. I saw earlier somewhere 140 plus cities in America, and we might as well go ahead and get into this because there's only 19, but by the time people start getting in, but I do want people to hear this because this is definitely something that we're all going to be dealing with. But yeah, you're seeing a lot of this, all this protesting and stuff, and I figured you would see more of this going into this virus thing, but I think there was more fear behind that, and people fear what they can't see or don't understand. So I do understand that why it didn't happen then, but you keep hearing throughout this whole time, and as I was telling Trina before we came on, you saw all these videos of all this military movement going on around the country during the first period of that virus thing, and you see that a lot on YouTube, and you don't know what to make of it. Well, now you've heard them pushing this second wave coming, and they're pushing that's going to be coming. Yeah. Well, to me, I think they're pulling out their old card tricks. They see that didn't really upset us enough, so now what do? They pull a race card, of course. Yep. Now what are people doing? Now we're fighting back.
Well, they knew they couldn't do it with the fear of our own safety, but then so when that didn't work, they took an extremely violent situation and pulled at our heartstrings.
Yep, you got it. And let me tell you, folks, as I was also telling her beforehand, this is not a Republican or Democrat thing. This is not a white or a black thing.
No.
This is literally a life and death thing that we're dealing with right now, folks. And
it's a humanity thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if anybody else seen the news today, but T-Dog come out and said that if these different states didn't pull out National Guard, he was going to pull out the U.S. military. Martial law's already been implemented, and and I don't care if we get cut off. To be honest with you, I don't care. But it's already been implemented in a lot of these cities, and folks, it's going to be nationwide. That's your second wave. And as we was telling her, this came through meditation, what I'm telling you right now. Now, this did not. But I could see, they're also telling all these protesters, oh, you better go self quarantine for 14 days after all this, after you've been protesting. I wouldn't doubt it if every one of them people come down with something after protesting. Who knows what they're spraying on them? Pepper spray with what?
Mhm,
You don't know.
mhm.
So, like I said, that's just speculation, pure speculation there. But the rest
Yeah,
of
but
it,
it's a
folks,
high probability. I
it
when
is
you
a high
said that, I was
five.
like, "Oh, she might be spot on with that."
Like I said, I hope I'm not, but the rest of it, prepare folks. I mean, like I said, if you ain't got some kind of food going on right now, you're already pretty much screwed because
So
this is
I was
going to
gonna say, I
happen
think
quick.
that's gonna be the next one. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
because
where they hit us next.
yep,
Yep.
they haven't been talking about it, but we've seen all the pieces falling into place. With I've listed all of them: droughts, blah 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 blah, whatever else you want to say.
Yep.
That's coming. So that's just another wheel in the cog as far as their motion is playing. So please prepare, folks. Like, and the biggest thing I want you to get out of this is don't let this turn into a white versus black, a Republican versus Democrat. Like I said, this is a human thing we're dealing with now. They're doing all this to try to divide us even more. Like I said,
Yeah.
when they first, took our jobs and stuff like that, it brought us closer together. And they're like, "Whoa, this ain't supposed to be happening."
Right. It was flip.
So what do we got to do? Well, you're seeing it. So we need to come together. And one of the best things I saw was George Floyd's brother up there, where he had passed away. They took him back, and he was saying the same thing. He was like, "I want you to be mad, but don't go looting all these stores. Like, where is that getting us? Be proactive. If you want to get mad at the system. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I mean. The peaceful protesting is totally I think it's a beautiful, honorable thing.
yes,
But right now, we've got some special people out and some special groups that are political. It has nothing to do with a grieving of a loss of a human being. That this is a political thing for these people that are torching everything and burning stuff down and doing all that stuff. So we need to realize the difference. Who's who?
I mean, they've already caught one guy that guy dressed in black. He had the black umbrella. Imagine that symbology.
Yep.
And he was actually, I forgot what affiliation he was with, but he was the one that threw the first brick up in Minneapolis and basically
Huh?
incited the riot. So
Yeah.
you don't know who you're in these crowds with and all this. And that's what I'm saying. You've got people that are being placed there. There's ads and papers all over the nation right now for these crisis actors. You can go look anywhere. They're online.
They'll pay you
Don't,
$200 an event.
yeah, don't feed into the fear. All
No.
they're trying to do is divide and conquer.
You know what was really cool? Last night here in Arizona, they tried to put, to start chaos, absolute utter chaos here. Well, they always announce what they're going to do on these social platforms and stuff. Well, I don't know where they're from and where we're from, but we all talk. So like everybody knew what they were going to do. So we all like warned everybody, and we were getting ready for everything. And pretty much not a lot happened because as soon as they started to destroy our buildings and stuff, the other people that were there basically pile drive them and attack them and hold them down until they could be detained by the police officers. So those groups of those crazy people, they started scattering through our city by 10 o'clock and it was game over by 10:30.
And that's probably the ones we're talking about.
They did our basic citizens helped stop, the destruction of our city. They wanted to protest peacefully, but they weren't going to stand for people hurting other people or burning down our buildings. So they actually were facilitating and helping stop the chaos. which was
Like I
pretty
said,
awesome.
if you had a choice, no matter, I would stay away from those. But if you,
Absolutely. But a lot of these people though are going because they think it's a peaceful protest.
well,
That's what
that's
they
what I was
signed
going to
up
say. But
for.
if you do
Yeah.
go and or you find yourself in the middle of it and you see, like, try to talk some reason into people. That's what we're here, folks. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be that voice, and sometimes it's not easy to be that voice.
Sometimes you got to know when to stay out of the way too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Got to
because
know
if
when to
there's
hold them and know when to fold them.
yeah, because if there's a lot of chaos going around, sometimes you can't stay out of the way, quick enough. So you got to you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them. But I was real happy with Arizona, and I mean they did burn down some houses, and then they did get some stuff accomplished, but not even a fourth of what they had planned. So I'm
Well,
grateful.
that's good.
Yeah, very
Well, like I
grateful.
said,
Yay, Arizona.
it's even more of a reason for any of us anywhere we go to, like I said, be that voice. I mean, if people think you're crazy, you're probably never going to see them again, but still go out there and just, if anything, just go out there and overwhelm people with love and kindness and things. It freaks people out. And to be honest with you, it's a
Yeah.
game for me.
Yeah, you shoot us smiles and love bombs. They're looking at you like, what is wrong with you? And you're like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
know,
yeah.
it's great.
So, anyway, I wanted
Freak
to get
people
that out of
out.
the way. I don't know how much time. Maybe I'll go through all these seeds on a different show because, man, I mean, literally, like I said, there's just so many. But once
That's
again, I haven't seen her yet, but Miss Travel 444, thank you. Like I said, I'll show y'all everything that she sent.
amazing.
Oh, is there a card in here? I didn't even notice that. Huh.
Right on. That's
Snowball
amazing.
cauliflower, ruby red leaf lettuce, Cherokee purple tomatoes. These are from Italy in the 1800s, whatever that is. Like, amazing seed stock. So, thank you,
That's
Miss Travel
awesome.
444. If I can do anything for you and for repay, I guess I should look at that later. Well,
Yeah,
actually, let me make sure.
that's a precious seed vault you got. I mean, those heirloom. That's awesome.
Like I said, I mean, I've received a lot of things, and I am grateful for each and every one of them.
Yeah.
But like literally, that was one that, besides this crystal skull, that's probably the second mind blowing thing. I mean, like I said, she put a lot of work into it. I mean, put how deep I should put underground, how much sunlight. Like she literally wrote down everything for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's
That's wow.
amazing. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm humbled. It's amazing. Probably at least once a week or once every other week, I receive something in the mail, and like, man, the generosity and kindness and love in this community, like it humbles me. Like it makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I cry, let me see who we got with us. I let it get too far behind, but that's okay. That Turning Sun, what's going on? There's Brian Lunsford, Cosmic Convergence. Buddy, hit me up. I'd like to do a show this week. Yes, we got Love Joy Wellness Massage. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's David Castle and Big Al. Bob Fox. Well, welcome, brother. Good to see you. Never seen you here before. Lost in Space. Troy Stittard. What's going on? Troy, Troy, just said that. Twisted Isby. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Darth Samuel Nagayan. Welcome, 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 my friend. Who else we got going on here? Shannon Kling. Howdy, Brian and Trina. Well, howdy. There's Miss Deborah Smith. I hope she's doing much better. I seen a post where I think she is feeling a little bit better. I know you're going through a lot of pain, honey. Let me tell you, I can relate. I've just learned to live with it. So, who else we got going on here? But we will send you some healing, love, and energy. Crystal MacArthur. Howdy, folks. I'm going through hell. Hell's just a figment of your imagination. You will come through this. Remember, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Oh, Crystal.
Yep. Deborah True, how you doing? Well, she sent me another email. I swear to God, I got to do a show on just reading her emails.
Yeah, you probably should.
I mean, I really you would not believe. I wish she would come on to it, but that's okay. I will do a show just reading those. There's my old brother, Brad McMurray. What's going on, brother? Miss Ann Allen, how you doing? Quantum Spirit, what's going on? As above, so beloved. I love that name. There's our Miss Rebecca Galactinoff. How you doing? Jawway. What's going on? What else we got going on? Yes, Jill Jarrett. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Miss Chloe. Yes, this is the Soul Tribe. There's the man to be from down under. Sorry it's happening, eh? Hey, just another day in paradise is the way I look at it. Sorry, my allergies. I've been outside the past couple of days and my allergies are bothering me. Robert B., the man, the myth, the legend. We're going to be getting him back on here this week. Yes, we got going on. Miss Brenda Robinson. How you doing? Tony Cherie. Hey, y'all. Love and favor. Who else? Quantum. So I said that Quantum Spirit. Oh, Lord, I let it get far. Project Skyfalls. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
All the Soul Tribe.
Absolutely. We got 42 with us so far. Let's see. I'm sorry if I missed somebody. I'm trying not to. Divine Empress, how you doing? I hate allergies. Lord,
I actually took an allergy, a Tylenol allergy today. I haven't taken one in a while, but yeah, I was feeling a little sniffly too. But we've had wind and everything blooming.
Oh, that's the way it is here. But you know, I can't wait till it'll all be worth it when all the garden stuff starts coming in.
Yeah.
Source frequency, how you doing? 12, 15, 22, 5 letters placement in the alphabet. I don't know what he's talking about there, but Joyce, are you serious? Are you serious? Eyes to see. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I caught up. There we go. Healing, brother. Lord, I need it, my man. Let me tell you, I need it. It's all right. I'm hopefully we figured out what's going on with me. I think me and Trina may have figured it out. So we'll see. Anyway, we're caught up now.
Yay.
Yay. It's 10:18. We ain't too far behind. So
no.
I guess unless you got something to add without further ado.
No, I think we're good. Yeah.
All right,
ready for some higher minds. You know, all the doom and gloom. We get enough of that. It's like, okay, we'll cover a little bit, then we'll move on to the good stuff.
That's what I'm just, you know, like we were saying, like, is this really our reality?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Is this really our reality? Yeah.
I mean, I just, you know, like we were saying beforehand, like I knew there would be a push after. I just knew in my heart and mind that there would be a push after we saw that first rollout and everybody was at home and all that. Man, I just didn't think it would be as quick. I thought it'd maybe be on down the road, maybe next year. But I guess while you got the cat by the tail, you might as well go ahead and drag it in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like one boom after another boom, and I think it's just going to keep on coming for a while, a little while.
You're right. I think the punches are going to start coming at us pretty quick now. So
in all different directions, like you said, with illness and then food, and it's all plague, and then politics, and then riots. Yeah, it's like one thing after another.
Yep. So, what are we talking about? Observing the future. What is the future that you want?
Oh,
see, 317.
I can truly see us turning everything around and having a very good future, a future beyond our imagination, actually.
We definitely can, but it's going to take action and not just a lot of talk.
Yeah, well, it's funny too. They just, said they announced this new king, and they're saying that he's going to be bringing in that Jasara plan, and they would be activating the Nasara plan, and that's debt forgiveness for everybody. So people would be celebrating pretty big.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get her going on here. Here we go.
Woohoo!
Here's another thing you can experiment with using love. Boy, don't we need a lot of that right now.
Oh gosh, Sherry Large just said they've got buses of protesters that arrived in their town today.
Like I said, I mean, I personally, the ads I've seen, $500 a day in California, you can get paid
Wow.
$200 a day in Dallas, Texas. They're everywhere. Go on Craigslist. That's where they put all that stuff, on Craigslist.
Oh my gosh.
That's, you know, I mean, Craigslist is pretty much the underground now anyway. That was one of the first ones.
Yep.
Anyway, back to the reading. It is a little more difficult than sending love, which is easy. Even if you do not think you know how, love knows how, as long as you have good intentions. Let us try to go beyond what we have talked about. What do we know about time? Maybe we can interact with it in more ways than we would think possible at first. If love is timeless, time neutral, and we flood ourselves with love, how can that affect us? Also, the mind is timeless or time neutral, even though the brain is not. Is something starting to come through for you? And for those of you who have already thought the question, yes, it can. You see, you may have more control of the future than you think. Your physical illusionary mind created holographic future, mental and spiritual future is interconnected and interacts with each other all the time. The physical and mental existences are separate, almost identical reflections of each other, and all subject to the creation of the mind. Sorry for all the metaphysical expressions in quantum physics, but you need to know this so what is coming later will make sense to you. Metaphysics is the teachings of what we do not understand. There's a very thin line between metaphysics and quantum physics, and they often overlap. Visualization is a form of creation. What you have visualized is created on a mental level of existence, which is timeless and always under construction. It is stationary in time, if you like. Everything in the physical universe was created by thought projected into a mental existence first. We will find that one of the greatest minds of theoretical physics, Stephen Hawking of Cambridge University, is right in saying that it appears as the universe was created from nothing. Not to speak for him, but he probably means from nothing physical. And since we have gotten all the way down to thinking the singularity is the smallest particle in the universe, we have a problem. What created the singularity, and what happens if we cut it in half conceptually? We understand the latest definition of singularity to be a particle so small it has no mass, no energy, and no time. If that is the case, is it still physical? I was always taught that everything physical had to have mass, energy, and be subjected to time. We may find that the singularity in the rest of the universe was created by a single thought that multiplied itself into a wave and is now everywhere. Real quick, that makes sense to me because, like I said, you know, I mean, in the beginning, it had to be a thought or something because there is no beginning or end. It just is.
That's what I saw.
So,
I can't really explain it any other way than it was a thought, and the thought produced a vibration and a sound and a color from the basic thought. And
and
then
here
it
we
went
are.
from that into symbols and geometry and down into matter it goes, but
So,
that's
in that
yeah.
case, there would definitely have to be a multiverse.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it wouldn't be any other
'Cause
way, I
it's
would
like
think.
the thoughts are like drops of water in an ocean. There's so many different realities based on our perceptions. It's
Yep. They're
so
all little bubbles. Maybe that's the
yeah.
circles upon circles upon circles upon.
Yeah. Round and round we go. Whee!
Yeah. Back to the story. We may find that singularity in the rest of the universe was created by a single thought that that multiplied itself into a wave and is now everywhere. This single particle was love, universal consciousness, or God. This is what the universal consciousness is trying to convey about it. Stephen Hawking has an incredible mind, and he may already know this, but he cannot put it into the scientific community this way. They would never buy it. That has to come into stages. As the human consciousness on Earth expands, it will be fun to see how this unfolds. So, why not start visualizing what you want in the future? Set a date attached to an emotional event by which it will be attained. And by the way, at the end of this, we're going to do another moment of silence, and I want to make us visualize a better outcome for what we're seeing today. So,
Awesome.
Visualize it in detail, color, and put emotion, feelings, and love into it as you build it. This will take a while to engineer the way you want it. When you create it with feelings and emotion, you are speaking to the universal consciousness in its language. Keep visiting it in your mind often, and be specific in the details so you get a good visualized, colorful picture of your mind creation. The more you travel the path in your mind to this creation, the more you are solidifying the path back and forth to the creation in the future. You are laying down attractor strings to it. Once you have thought it into existence on a mental level of existence in the future, start flooding it with love. Bombard it with love until it glows like a star. When you're going there in your mind to flood it with love, see if you can leave a string of light from here and now to there in the future. All this solidifies it in the future and it binds it to you in the present. Remember, the future is not locked in stone. It is like clay and you can mold it. It is just that most people do not know how. Having goals, New Year's resolutions, and dreams are only half of the equation. Those are all at a conscious level and have no meaning to the real you. You need to entrench it in on the subconscious mind as well. That you can do at the tail end of a meditation session. When you're breaking in on a total silence and you speak to the subconscious mind and the universal consciousness. When you're done speaking your requests, flood yourself, your intention, and what you're asking for with love. This is one of the secrets or something similar many of the billionaires in the world are using to build their empires. This and a big heart of giving is what many of them engage in every day. Everything you have been dealing with here is timeless, or better said, time neutral, since it is all in the present. Would you like to expand your mind a little further? What if you could go and really have a close up look at what you have created in the future? Would you do it? You may want to wait with this until you have practiced with love for a while and feel more comfortable. If you're going to go forward to have a look at the future, you should do it with care. You are combining physical, mental, and spiritual activity you have never done before, and there are few people to learn from. If you do it, remember, you're only there to observe and not to interact. You will want to meditate on it first. To start out, you should be lying down in a quiet and comfortable place where you will be alone, because while you are traveling, you may not have the same presence of mind as you usually have. Doing it while walking, sitting in a party, or flying airplanes may not be a good idea, since we do not exactly know what will happen to our physical body while you're traveling and not at home to mind the store. If your initial meditation, in your initial meditation, tell the universal consciousness you will return to this place, this time, and this timeline. Then fill yourself and surround yourself with love so you shine like a sun. Visualize yourself walking out, always surrounded with the bright white light around you, and a taxi cab is just driving up. You get into the taxi, and the driver asks, "Where to?" You tell him your desired time, date, and year in the future. You hear him say, "We will go there." The taxi starts moving, and you drive into a tunnel. Everything goes dark except the lights on the taxi and the light of love around you. You may want to replenish the light around you from time to time. If you lose the light love around you, it most likely will not work. You should drive for a minute or so and emerge from the tunnel. From there on, it is up to you. You can go and find a newspaper to find out what is going on, or go and visit yourself in your creation, but you're best off to observe from a distance. You can talk to yourself because your future self already knows you have done this. Never touch your future self. There are two schools of thought on that, but I prefer to be on the safe side. Theoretical physics indicates that if you touch your future self, you could create a paradox or end up creating a quantum bridge back to the past. If you start interacting and making decisions in the future, you most likely will start making a new timeline, which will create more future possibilities. It will contaminate the future of the timeline you were in, and possibly all the way back to the starting point now. If you end up in a different timeline, you may not come back in this timeline at all. If that were to be the case, you would never know the difference, because you would have no memory of the timeline you departed from, because it never existed. Where you end up, that is the hologram you will play out from then on. That would most likely be a non scheduled event and it would interfere with your previous life purpose and related issues. This would make things really complicated on the spiritual side and miss opportunities to learn for you. To return back from the future, you should go and look for the taxi. When he shows up, tell him you'd like to go back through the same timeline to your same year and to the same time. The driver will confirm. Observe going through the tunnel and return to your starting point. Keep the love and light around you during all this, and you cannot hurt yourself. And there you go. I think we'll finish this up today. We only got 10 pages.
Okay. Well, I like that taxi cab thing.
Yeah, I never thought about, going in and observing different timelines. I know we're changing timelines, but I never thought about where you could actually go in and observe them. But that's interesting about not touching yourself. You can talk to your future self, but don't touch.
That is super interesting.
It is, isn't it?
That must be the whole essence of what they call that butterfly effect.
Interesting perspective. Maybe. Any questions?
Nope, everybody's just talking.
Can you talk to your higher self, Project Sky Falls? That's the only person I talk to. I don't talk to all these indies and stuff. I when I do it, I talk to my higher self.
Brian, she's also, so you can't touch your higher self either. Project Skyfalls asks.
That
I never knew
answer.
that, but yeah, that's what that says, right? You can't touch yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I would be mindful about doing it now. I mean, I'd never even thought about even trying to touch my higher self, to be honest with you. It's more like a light body is what I see.
Is that higher self, or are they talking about future selves, like on different timelines?
Now, they were talking about future selves.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I've touched my higher self. I don't think I had a problem, but oh God, But the that makes sense, because like Back to the Future, they always say, Marty, don't see yourself. You can't see yourself. They always say that. So
And I mean, think about that. They put that in a movie.
Right. They always drop those bombs of truth in the movies, So yeah, I bet there's something kind of important to that. I have a feeling it, like Marty said, remember he said it'll change the future if you screw with the past, or you'll change your past if you screw with the future. So remember he did something that changed stuff and his brother and his sister started disappearing.
And at that time in our lives, we had no idea he was spitting truth.
Oh yeah, right. And yeah, and Star Trek too. It's like,
yeah, Star Wars, all of them.
Profound, yeah.
All right, we'll see if we can knock this out then. Correcting the past. Does your mind still need expanding? Here's something else for you to think about. We talked about time, how to rearrange and create the future the way you like it to be. But what about the past? Did not someone a long time ago say, with God, all things are possible? How far are you willing to allow yourself to accept this concept to reach? I know this will stretch your mind some, as we have not already done that. Oh boy, most people would love to go back and have a do-over of some of the things done in their past. I know I would. Actually, me, no. I mean, I feel like I've went through all this shit for a reason. This could be a good time to go back and reread the section on how and why we can go and have a look at the future. Love and time is timeless. Is it not? Is the past within the concept of time? Yes. Out of the physical on the higher spiritual level, it is all in the present. Are you coming back with me again? I know I lost you for a moment there when I mentioned possibly correcting the past. This will be as much a lesson in quantum physics as in the spiritual science and love. Of course, love is the foundation for quantum physics. The theoretical physicists just do not know it yet. The past, the present, and the future is happening at the same time out of the physical reality. That would be a hologram universe.
Yeah.
What you see is the organized linear physical effects of the creation. So the past and the present are not far apart. All that is separating us is the linear time present from where the past is, not was, a frequency of vibration. If you can clothe yourself in that frequency of love, maybe you can breach the gap. The reason I'm going into the technical stuff is that once you understand how and why something, it is easier to see a reason by why something would work. That creates belief. Belief creates reality. You understand how important that is in a mind-created universe? Check the papers published by several theoretical physicists on the issue, and you will find that they are pretty close to what you read here. They just do not take the spiritual part, light and love, into the equation. That will change. In a physical reality, the past appears to be fixed, and it is, in this reality and timeline. Then again, I just read in a mainstream science and physics journal that time should be reversible according to a quantum physics equation they have created. There are other timelines. What if we were to jump across to another timeline? Or what if we were to create a totally new timeline? Things would be different with new and different situations. The mind created past can also be affected. And that's what we've been seeing with us. You know, I think that explains some of the Mandela effect. I think it's different timelines jumping back and forth.
Ryan, I think that's exactly what it is. You're spot on, I think. That's in my opinion, but I think you're absolutely right with that.
I mean, it makes sense in my head. I don't know how much that means.
No, it does in mine too, because those would be those little differences between
Yeah.
the timelines. And I think if you decide to change your mind and you decide to make a drastic change in your life, that's all it takes to put you into another timeline.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we might be doing it more than we're aware of.
And see, that shows the power within us. And like I keep saying, every individual thought matters. Not just what you say, but thought.
And feel how
Yeah.
you feel. What are you feeling in your body? How are you feeling? Because you want to try to feel, well when you can.
Who you telling?
I know. Yeah, I know. I feel you. I know.
Here we go. When you do this, you're not correcting the present or past conditions of this particular physical timeline. You're going back to interrupt this timeline with different actions and thought. By doing that, you are breaking off the first one and creating a new timeline. What happens to the old timeline is up for debate. My belief and understanding is that you would disappear from the first mind created holograph illusion in the first timeline. Your mind, thought, and soul are no longer there to fuel it with creative thought and subconscious mind programs. You and everything would continue in the newly created timeline or reality with all new possibilities and choices. You will have no memory of the first timeline because it does not exist. In fact, it never existed. Yes, in your new timeline, the old one never existed. From then on, you will remain in the new timeline. Trying to understand this part of quantum physics is not very easy because we're trying to figure it out using a mind of limited capacity. To best compare it to something, you can imagine three people sitting in a room. You leave the room and shut the lights off. After you leave, you cannot know what they are doing in that room. They may even leave the room through a door on the other side and you will never know it. If the timeline you left was to continue, everything had to be rearranged as to what would be if you never existed. The people in your life in the first timeline will have no knowledge or memories of you whatsoever. Your children would have to disappear also. From the time you create and enter the new timeline, things may develop differently if you make different choices. You can ask yourself what the chances of that would be. Unlikely, maybe, but possible. Since you do not remember all the miserable choices and mistakes you did in your first timeline, you would not know if the choices were bad before you made them. Again, possibly creating the same resultant effects. You may still end up in jail for driving drunk or losing your house after co-signing for a really good friend. Everyone in your life in the new timeline will have experiences and develop new memories of you as would be normal. Your mind is now creating all new illusionary experiences for you as you are continuing your new life in the mind created hologram. All these things are now possible because you are there to fuel it with your thought, action, and subconscious mind programs. Your part of the first timeline may disappear, and the old timeline may be recreated from the point and time when you visited. Now it gets complicated. Are you also in both timelines? You could not be both places, could you? How would we know? Not being able to be aware in more than one timeline at a time. If your head is not buzzing by now, you're half dead. I am already dizzy. The point is, if we're messing with time, all bets are off. James Kirk was wrong about space being the last frontier. The last frontier is the mind. I don't know how many times I've said that. Like,
That's true, right?
I mean, the universe is within, so the mind that's our last obstacle, really.
It is. And I think man, there's a lot of potential within that mental construct, because through that mental construct we're connected to like the soul, everything. We're connected to everything through that,
Yeah.
the mind.
Me and my mom was just talking
With
about that today. You know, we're talking about the God concept, and I mean, it is everything, and you know, it always has been and always will be. Like we were talking about, it's that all-encompassing energy.
yeah, absolutely.
If you were to succeed and go back and have a look at the things and decide to make changes, it is up to you not to make the same changes or mistakes as you did the first time around. This time, I really wish you good luck with that. Here's something complicated again, and universal consciousness is not forthcoming on this issue, but we may be able to exist in both timelines. Quantum physics indicates that there is only one consciousness, and we are part of that in whichever form we are. Since there is only one consciousness and there is no duality or individualized consciousness, only the perception thereof, it should be possible for the spark of life to manage two holograms. We are one with the universal mind, so maybe there is a capacity to be everywhere without the split. Everything else is only a holographic mind created illusion, which can be duplicated. With your knowledge of love, it should not matter much. Surrounded by the high vibratory energy of love, you should be able to go there and have a look and come back. If you're starting to interact directly, make new decisions and change things. There will be a new timeline and you will most likely remain there. In some cases, that may not be a bad thing. So with love, you could get the best out of that situation also. If you were to try this, send love to a specific thing or someone you want to visit there first, so you have something to draw you there. Again, do not overthink it and worry too much about it. As I have said before, it may look as if you're alone, but you're not. It is an illusion. It is your illusion. You will be guided, especially if you ask for it while communicating with universal consciousness in meditation. With you in your illusion, there are higher spiritual beings. They seem to be guiding things along as per the arrangements that were agreed upon by you. When you travel with love surrounding you, be observant. You may see things and meet other entities who do not belong in your physical reality. That could turn into some very interesting communications. And remember, doing it the way you are doing it, you have nothing to worry about. You are surrounded by love. You cannot hurt yourself while you're being surrounded by love. For you who have studied out of body experiences, astral travel, and soul travel, the experiences you may be having may much be the same as astral travel and soul travel. There's only one big difference. You have the higher vibratory, universally conscious love, vibration, and energy all around you. You will not attract anything of a lower vibration. Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce.
4 more pages. And what was this called? What is the soul? No questions?
Beautiful. You know, they were asking, they were kind of talking amongst themselves, but they were having some really good stuff coming up. Ray of Thoth, good to have you here. They were
Absolutely.
giving their gratitude for having such a great community. Yeah, like as read through some of the bigger ones. I mean, they're not really questions, but they're kind of interesting.
That's why I love my chat room. They keep it
Yeah,
real. Fairies are nice, right? You have to ask Trina on that one. I'm not much of a fairy expert.
I do think fairies are real. I think that a
No,
lot of
she
them
said,
are.
are they nice?
Oh no, some of them are mean, and you're not supposed to eat or drink anything from the fairies, and don't dance with them because they'll dance you till you die. Yeah, they're feisty. You got to be careful with fairies. Yeah, for reals.
Steve, if you got a question, just ask it.
Yeah,
You don't have to ask for a question, just ask.
Yeah, and like I said, fairies can be sweet and all that good stuff too, but you got to be careful. They can be feisty. They're,
Yeah, it goes with anything. I mean,
yeah, it's
good or
kind
bad.
of like us.
All right, well, if you almost keep reading since we only got 4 pages left, if you see his question, I'll stop. Okay, what is the soul? A question which should be asked by now. What is the soul? What universal consciousness submits about that is that the intelligent spark of life is of the same substance as the universal consciousness or God. Even though all of existence is only universal consciousness with its many expressions of thought and energy, and of course, all intelligent energy is thought based. The way universal consciousness is expressing the energy of the soul is as a cluster of curious and creative, intelligent, universal thought energy. Its home is the great sea of light, from which it was individualized from its curious journey to learn, play, and grow. Since the great sea of light is everywhere as a specific intelligent level of thought vibration, the spark of life is really not traveling anywhere so much as submerging itself in a lower vibratory dimensional existence. When there is other interesting, challenging experiences to partake in. The intelligent cluster of thought energy called the soul went on to journey, to play, learn, and grow, and it has inserted itself into a mind-created illusionary hologram to play out its games and learning experiences. The soul is not necessarily a localized thing. It is matched with the baby's body a short time before the birth of the physical body into its physical life cycle. It may stay with the body or travel and observe its new environment. When the soul rests, there is a resting place for it in the heart chakra of the etheric human body.
A question, Brian. What was
Okay.
the name of the book again?
This book,
Yes.
Spiritual Science, The Guide to Higher Consciousness.
Spiritual Science, A Guide to Higher Consciousness. Right on. Okay.
And the next book we'll be covering
Oh,
next
and
week.
Steve did comment back. He said, just you guys are just being super wonderful and are you going to be better tomorrow?
Right on. I need to get him back on here. I want to do that show. I need to do some research on that. Anyways, let's get back to it. I want to read that again, though. When the soul rests, there's a resting place for it in the heart chakra of the etheric human body. That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, in the etheric human body. So
yeah,
which is
that's
our
why
higher
I was
self.
like, wow, that's a key wisdom bomb right there, guys.
If you were to visualize the soul, you can see it as a diamond shaped, 3-pronged, 3-colored rotating flame.
Oh my God.
I'm basically baffled. I've seen that.
Me too.
I'm in shock right now.
I know. I just got shook by this too. I'm like, whoa, hold the phone. It's in the heart and it's a diamond. I'm like, oh, hold the phone.
Dang
wow,
you, agnost. Okay, anyway, where was I? It is
I don't
very
know, but
bright.
I think you should read that at least one more time.
I will. When the soul rests, there's a resting place for it in the heart chakra of the etheric human body. If you were to visualize the soul, you can see it as a diamond-shaped, 3-pronged, 3-colored rotating flame. It is very bright, flickering, and alive. The colors may vary some. Souls with highly advanced spiritual capacity will show a dominating white. If this is constant as a rule, I do not know. I'm my mind is just like, what?
That is so profound and so beautiful. I mean, Shine On Crazy Diamond, Pink Floyd. I mean, man, that is so unbelievably awesome.
It's
beautiful right there. I love it.
Wow, where's home? Good question. The conclusion is that you're on a journey towards higher spiritual capacity and knowledge, and you will eventually return home from where you came to the great sea of light and join back with the universal consciousness. That is the state of collective mind where there is constant and eternal bliss. The perceived individual soul or mind is joined with the collective universal mind, and you enjoy the knowledge and experience of the all, the source, or God. This is your long-term destiny, to emerge from the world of density and physical form to join back with the universal Father in the great sea of light, whether you like it or not at the present. I'm using the term long-term destiny. loosely because it only applies to the physical existence. From the beginning of the journey of the soul to its arrival home may only take a split moment in the spiritual existence, where there is no time and everything is happening in the present. So the journey may not be as long as we thought. Remember what the Master may have said a long time ago. For the Father, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like one day. This was probably the best way to explain the difference in time and reality to an uneducated group of people 2,000 years ago. If this is what he said, it has also created a great misunderstanding and a sense of separation for the people. They came to understand that they were not part of God or that kingdom. Maybe the real truth would have gone over just as well. The Great Sea of Light is the home of the family of souls where all experiences, knowledge, and wisdom are shared by all perceived individualities in their oneness. What universal consciousness shares is that when you have advanced up the spiritual evolutionary ladder and you join back with the Universal Father in the Great Sea of Light, the whole universe you created will disappear. It was yours, and there's no longer a need for it. Others who may not have reached that stage yet will still be in their universe. When everyone has reached the level of perfect unity with Universal Father and they are home in the Great Sea of Light, the universal light switch of the last physical universe is turned to the off position, metaphorically, and it will disappear. Perfect harmony, bliss, and love have been restored again. There is bliss in all of creation. Wow.
Right on. And Steve says, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star."
That was interesting. Like I said, folks, I want to reiterate, go back and read this book again.
It's one of the best books I've seen in a very long time, Brian. It really is. It's a mind blower.
Well, oh, and what I was going to say earlier, the next book I'll become next week, I can't remember the woman's name that wrote it right offhand, but it's called The Visible and Invisible Worlds of God.
Oh, I can't wait to go there. Oh, that is going to be amazing.
It's going to be a good one too. So looking forward to that.
That's like the whole Nag Hammadi stuff talks about the invisible realms and the invisible God, and that is.
I'm sure that'll tie in.
I have a feeling it will, and that is beautiful information. That's how I literally, I think, graduated. Like, you come here to do certain things, and I think when I broke the God spell, and that literally was, I cut myself out of a serpent in a vision the very next morning. It was crazy. And I think that was how I did it, was connecting to that whole part of understanding that everything that I see here is part of this matrix and part of this world, and it's not connected to what is truth, which is my spirit, and that's invisible. And that whole invisible God thing was what got me back to that realization. So it was powerful for me.
Oh, thank you, Tony Cherie. She said the author of that book is Caroline Corey.
Oh, right on.
So if anybody else wants to get it, I haven't set it up in my email yet, but if y'all want to start emailing me this week, I'll go ahead and get it set up, and that way I can start sending copies out to people. Because God knows, I sent out over 100 copies of this. I mean, we hadn't had that many join us, but at least people got to read the book. I'm happy for that. Even if you don't watch and you want the book, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah. I like to listen to this before I go to sleep or before I meditate, because the words of this book, they're just really good vibration. They put you in a great place to go explore your own truth and explore your own wisdom. I love it.
That's like me and Robert were talking the other night, that thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, that apua, like
Ho'opono.
Aponapona, yeah. It's amazing, like those higher vibratory words like that, like truly can change the whole frequency of you.
I really do. I believe it. I do. And remember the numbers in chat? Who put that? That was so brilliant. They showed the numbers again, and they showed what it mean. And it was the numbers. There was 5 numbers. It was love, and the numbers equal
5, 11, something like that.
Yeah, they equal 44. Mastery. I was like, love and mastery. That's powerful.
Higher vibratory word. love.
Yes. It's beautiful.
What we discern is where we go in the
Oh.
now. Find you in somehow. Steve
Mm.
said that.
Yeah. Chloe, you're so sweet. I love you.
Well, I don't see any other questions. Oh, I do want to do that moment of silence if y'all don't care though. And I don't really know how to put the intent out, but my main idea for this is I just want us. We talked about timelines tonight, so why don't we focus on changing the timeline of what we're on now to a better outcome?
Yeah. We
So
can do.
just try to focus on that.
All
Does that
right.
sound good?
Yeah. And do it any way y'all feel it. If that means collapsing timelines for you, whatever that means for you to bring you into your highest potential timeline.
And we just want to see a better outcome because we know there can be.
Well, there's all existing within the timeline. So that's what I mean. We want to jump to our highest potential timeline. Does that resonate with y'all?
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
jump into the highest vibrational potential you could get to.
All right, here we go. The minute mark just rolled over. So let's do a moment of silence and put that intent out. All right. I definitely can envision a better world.
I could too, and I literally saw rays, and a lot of us we were holding hands and we are like, which one do we jump on?
I mean, people like this is not the lives we're supposed to be living. We're not supposed to be enslaved every day. And like I said, when that first thing went out and people lost their jobs, they got a taste of what it really could be like.
Yeah. And
And
they started to dream again.
and that
And
you saw the creativity coming out in people because
yes.
they weren't enslaved. They weren't having to go do the grind every day. They were able to focus their minds. There's a reason that when we went from being cavemen and being in survival mode the whole time, we never really got to progress. But once we were able to get some comfort and expand our life expectancies, and the reason we expand our life expectancies is because we did make our lives easier, but it opened us up for more thought, and that's why you're seeing space travel and all this. So imagine if we weren't enslaved 8 to 12 hours a day, and we had that time, and not only that 8 to 12 hours a day affects the rest of your day, because what do you think about? Oh God, I hate work. God, blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
it envelops you constantly. So if we're able to just actually live our lives and use our brain, like, oh my God, this world would be incredible. It would be
Well,
such a
if
beautiful place.
yeah, like if we were working for common goals and to support beautiful, fantastic, fun things for us as a species, but it wasn't done for motivation of profit and greed, that right there would change so much of our world if most of us were able to operate in a see, this is the thing, we get really smart, and then every single time we get super smart we start inventing technology, and this is even in the Bible, the Tower of Babel, we fall. It's like every time, because we get super smart and we forget that we need to honor our hearts too. We can only truly evolve when we can bring our wisdom into balance with our intuition, which is our heart center. So when we can start to have balance between the toiling and the labor, because it's a physical existence, we have physical things we have to do, even from caring for our own bodies, but the workloads, and it's all because of the competition and the greed. If we didn't have the competition and the greed, and it was more about service to others, and you get to be a hero because you're valuable to your family and your community, if all those things change, we would only be working like 3 days a week and we'd all be chilling out, painting stuff, creative, and the world would function in such a magnificent way because it would be really operating from higher vibrations other than to have self-motivated benefit.
That's what I'm saying. You know, they thought that was going to scare everybody, and then they saw that, like, damn, these people, they're just thriving now. We got to do something about
They
this,
just
man.
woke up.
Yeah. So got to pull out some of the old tricks.
It's like, oh yeah, they're like, oh shit, that backfired. Yeah.
And that's what, like, we have to transmute that energy and turn it into something positive. And we can, and we will. But like I said, don't be silent. Go out there, be a voice.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we gotta it's like everybody's like, well, what can you do? It's like, guys, we really got to understand the power that we have in our mind. We really do. We are creating our reality. And everything that's showing up in the world is a reflection of what's happening within our subconscious collective consciousness. So the chaos in this world, you can look at it in fear or you can look at it in total awe, amazement, and excitement, because this means things are getting ready to change. So, and we get to determine how that change is going to anchor into this world through our collective vibration.
And we're much stronger.
Yeah. And we know how to be the frequency we want to receive.
And
right?
and love is way more powerful than hate.
Oh, absolutely. Like 100 times exponentially more powerful.
Yep. Claudette Malaspina, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. I think I saw somebody else that I hadn't seen here in a while, I think. Oh yeah, the Fifth World. Good to see you.
Hi, Fifth World.
Yeah, the invitation's still open if you want to come on and be a guest sometime. You don't have to show your camera if you don't want to, but if you ever want to be a guest, just email me at milkywayweekly@gmail.com. Love to have you on, get your, it's like, even with her, it's I go back and I check on people like the Fifth World and other people. It's amazing seeing the progression and how we've all evolved in our thought.
Absolutely.
And it's all just a part of growth. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and all of us are going, in such a similar momentum, but we all have these little fractals of uniqueness that we're all exploring and learning and gathering and doing and diving into. And man, that's the fullness of creation. So we got to just keep going with, go with what you're drawn to. Trust what you know, because you guys are wizards. Guys
I've said this from the beginning when we started, this community started forming. It's amazing how we seem to be strategically placed around the world, but now it makes sense.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing, especially, because I started working on that crystal network, the crystalline grid. I've literally been working on that with collective groups for, my gosh, since 95, 97. So it's been a long time I've been working on that. And then when I met this group and these communities, and I started seeing how we were all over the globe, and it literally was like seeing the crystalline grid above the planet with all those little dots of all those connection points. And it was like watching a mirror reflect itself, light to light. I was like, wow.
We're being tested and tried every day, but it's an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Yep. So get out there and shine like you know you are.
Shine on and flame on. Yeah.
Well, do you have a final thought for us?
I think you couldn't have said it better, Brian. Shine on and flame on. So we got to do. We got to create what we want to see. And right now, in these huge transitional windows, man, this is when you really can start to plant the seeds for the future, because when things change, that means things are going to go into something new. So we can look at it fear, or we can look at it as a huge potential to make things look the way we want them to.
That's it. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this book. Like I said, The next one, I don't know if it'll be as good as this one, but I know it's packed full of a lot of information. I haven't read it, but I just know. So, and when I just know, I know.
Me too.
Anyway, I'll be back Thursday, I think. I'm just going to go ahead and put Brian Lunsford on the spot. Me and Brian Lunsford will be back Thursday night, whether we like it or not. So until then, folks, be the frequency you want to receive. Get out there and spread some love and light. Until Thursday, I love you all. Have a wonderful night.